Right, and good morning folks, welcome back to another video. Today I've brought you down to the beach. We're going to be doing a bit of lure fishing. It's our first lure fishing session of the year. I've got some lures and I've got some Bombardas with me as well, so we're going to give it a go and see what happens. There's a little gap in the weather window, so we've got today and tomorrow, so that we can get out and give it a quick go, test out the lures, ready for the 2025 season, which I hope is going to be absolutely awesome. So join me today as we throw some lures in the sea behind me, and we'll crack on now. Right, so the first thing we're going to play around with today is the Bombarda. Now, I've messed around with this setup over the winter, and hopefully we got it to where we want it. So I'm going to start off with the rig here. So I've gone for crimps on the top there to make it easier to make the rig. Shock leader material in the middle, got a bead, the Bombarda, the bead. I've gone with this plastic bit of float tube. I got it from a tackle shop. It's for making floats, I believe, and then I've just put a little bit of rubber shrink tubing on the bottom with a clip on the bottom there, and that just acts as like a little quick link system there. So what we're going to do is we're going to attach the Bombarda to the quick link on my lure fishing rod, and I just like having that swivel there, so you know, if you want to change over to a single lure, you can just clip it off and on during the session. So that clips onto the mini link there, and then on the bottom we just clip on our snood of choice. Just going to try and go for a small white lure to start off the session. So I've got a small white red gill here, as you can see. It's on about 1.5 meters worth of fluorocarbon, tiny swivel, and what I'm going to do is going to clip that onto the mini link at the bottom there, slide the rubber tubing back over, like that, so that's all locked into place there, and then we'll give it a flick out and see if we can try and catch some fish. Right, so here we go, first cast of 2025 on the lures. So I put brand new braid on as well, so we're going to try and bed that in a little bit. Sun's coming up to the left of me, which looks absolutely great. No tangles, which is good, from the Bombarda. We'll give it a little bit more of a flick now. There we go. I say the good thing about these Bombardas is that with the weight in the Bombarda as the float itself, does let you cast a hell of a long way. And, you know, for early season like this, having a small lure may be the difference between you catching a fish and not catching a fish. Not seeing much activity on the water, no birds working either. Throw one up this side. So what I'm doing is I'm just moving around the lure to different areas, left to right. Got a cracking morning to be out there. I think I'm a bit late on the clock today. Ideally you want to get here, you know, in darkness as it's changing to light. I've got it just as the sun's coming up, which I say I should have been here a little bit earlier, to be honest with you, but hey, that is life. As the Bombarda comes in, you can see the float coming through, creates a nice weight behind the float, and sometimes you do get the fish hitting the actual float itself. Lovely sunrise coming up over there, up over the rocks. Absolutely gorgeous. Trying not to get my feet wet. See the tail end of the lure coming in now. There we go. Right, so I had a couple of flicks with the Bombarda. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to change over to a metal. Like I say, the sun's coming up now, and a lot of shine on the water, so hopefully a metal will attract some fish. Right, so like I said, just going to change over to a metal lure. We're going to go for, so quick look what we got. This one here, the Surf Seeker, we're going to go for that. Give that a couple of flicks around. Like I say, it's got a nice flash on it. and hopefully that will be good in the upcoming sunrise. Right, so here it is, the Savage Gear Surf Seeker, 30 grams of pure awesomeness. There we go, hopefully this is going to be the lure for us. So just cast it straight out. Couple of reels and then stop, couple of reels and then stop. What we're aiming to do is that when we cast it out, it hits the water, and then as it comes down the water it flutters like that. It's a cracking lure. So when we reel, we're moving the lure through the water, and then when we stop reeling, it's fluttering back down. Ooh. Don't know if that was a hit then, or that was just me catching on the bottom. I don't think it was. That felt pretty promising. I think that was me catching on the bottom. So like I said again, we're fanning out the cast. We're going from the left hand side over to the right and then back over to the left. Try over this side. So I'm constantly looking at the water, see if I can see any movement or any kind of little bits of disturbance or anything like that. What a lovely, calm, flat day. I say there's ever so slightly bit of wind, but it's not that much, to be honest with you. It's quite nice. I think tomorrow it's going to be even calmer. I'm going to bang another one out here. And then we'll have a play around with this for a while, and then we'll move on to something else if this isn't going to hit the button. The water's pretty clear today. I thought it was going to be a lot darker. We've had a couple of bouts of rubbish weather. And there was quite a lot of rain yesterday, so I thought the water was going to be a lot darker than it is, but it is actually pretty clear this morning, which is pretty good. Alright, let's have another think of what we're going to do. Right, so the lure I chose next, white weedless sandy Andy. Right, so I've tried the Bombarda float, I've tried the Savage Gear Seeker and also the Sand Yandy, and had nothing yet. So I'm going to go back to the Bombarda and just stick it out and see if we can try and catch something. So sunrise looks absolutely awesome this morning. Privileged to have this on the doorstep. Absolutely awesome. Look at that. Well, I don't know if you'll be able to pick this up on the camera, but there's some bird activity going on over that side over there, which is pretty promising. Some boats going out of the harbour as well. See up there. It's a lovely, lovely boat that is going out. So I'm giving it about 10 to 15 chucks with this Bombarda float. And I say not having much luck on this, to be fair. So low and slow is the key early season, so I'm told. Right, so we had nothing on the white, which I thought would be a hit, to be fair, because it literally represents a bait fish. As you can see, very thin, clear, looks good. Going to try the red, see, it's just a changing colour, makes a difference. Right, so after throwing the red one around for about 10 minutes, I've had no hits on the red either. So we're going to go back to the lure box. I say it's a good thing about carrying both the Bombarda and also the lures as well is that on days when the fish are out, you can use the Bombarda for the distance. And it's always good to have more options. I'm just going to go for something. Just go for this big metal here. Dexter wedge. I think we're going to clip that on for the remainder of the session. Like I said, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a large pod of birds over that side over there. So I think what I'm going to do is going to walk down over this side over here, back there, and give it a couple of chucks up in that area. Right, so my original plan was to head over here where the birds are gone, but as I've walked up they've just completely disappeared. So yeah, that's that plan gone out the window. I say a lot of gull activity around here. We'll give it a go down here for a bit, I think. Let's see how we get on. Right, as I said, get here, all the goals disappear again. Mental. So, as the sun's come up now, it makes sense just to use a stone flashy, and this metal should do the trick. But you know, I say should do the trick. It would probably be the better of a bad bunch of lures that we got. Let's go cast it out into the drink, and then see what happens. I think. But what an absolutely lovely morning to be out. Look at that. Absolutely lovely. I think, like I say, I think we've got today and tomorrow, and then the weekend is absolutely horrendous, and then into next week looks bad as well. So best make the most of the 2 days, the weather window, to get out and dust off the old lures. Right guys, so unfortunately that is it for my little lure fishing adventure this morning. It's been absolutely lovely. It's nice to get out early morning and just fish light and just have a bit of a reset. Say the last couple of months or weeks beach fishing have been absolutely dire for me. Absolutely dire. Yeah, so I think we're going to get back on it tomorrow morning. I'm not sure whether we'll do lure or baits, but it'll still be nice and hopefully we can get a nice sunrise. And yeah, I'll see you on that session. Thanks for watching. Cheers.